time we start this, I just, like, a song comes into my head, and I was like, shabba-dab, shooba-doop, shabba-dab, shabba-dab, nee-da, na-na-na-na-na-na. Like, Erica, shut up. That was what was happening in my head.
What a roller coaster.
And then your little squeaker toy.
I don't know why. Me and my voice.
I love it.
Wow. Well, welcome everybody to another episode of Polite as Fuck. If you don't already know, we like to do a little jingle before every episode. That's how we start. So today was Trash the Camp from Tarzan.
Wow, you knew the full title. I had no idea what it was called.
Oh, because that, whatever track, that whole album, awesome.
It's
What's
so
his name?
good.
Phil Collins?
Mastermind.
Absolutely. Anyway, happy Wednesday. I hope you guys are doing well. Yeah.
So do I. I also hope you're doing well.
Just me. Yeah. Well, we have a fun episode for you guys today, which, well, do you want to, you kick us off. Okay. You're better at explaining. I'm not even going to try to just.
Well, this came about because Ellie and I had some driving experiences that we're going to share with you.
Yes.
But then it just kind of got us thinking around, like, why do we live in California? And what do we like about it here? Because obviously not everywhere is perfect. But I've been here since 2019. And I mean, your family has lived here for a while, or like in the Bay Area. And I feel like there's a lot of cons, but there's obviously a lot of reasons we're still here.
Yeah.
So we wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, the whole driving aspect really just kicked this whole conversation off, because driving, for me, nothing fuels my rage more than when people piss me off driving. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's, we'll get into it, but I don't know if that's a California thing. I don't know if it's a Bay Area thing. I don't know what's going on.
I think it's California, because I had the biggest road rage freak out of my life living here. And I'm, like, ashamed. I think about it, like, a lot. Because I'm like, that was insane of me. But the things that people do here are crazy. And I've never experienced that going back home.
Yeah.
When I lived in Boise, when I lived on the East Coast. It's like, people do dumb things, driving. But this is, like, consistent every day.
Every day something is happening.
Yeah.
So do you want to share your most recent driving snafus?
This was like snafu. Wow, that was good. I will say the only thing that I like about driving in California is that everyone, like, as a collective, has agreed that we're all gonna go like 20 over the speed limit.
Love that.
Like, you get on the freeway and it's like 80, and the speed limit is 65. Everyone's going 80 or faster.
Yeah.
And the cops are going that. No one cares. We're all going.
That's the line. Everybody knows that's the rule.
Yeah. So that's great, but I think I think it was you that said this, like, because most people that live in California aren't from California, like, everyone is taught, you said this, right?
No, that was, who said that? Someone said it, not me.
Someone said that basically, like, everyone learned to drive in their own town, wherever they're from. For some reason, everyone learned differently, and now we're all together trying to figure it out. But I was going to work the other day, and it's unfortunate that most of the time it's women that I experience problems with. But she was going to make a left-hand turn, gets into the lane to make the left-hand turn, so I speed up to go past her forward through the light. She decides that she doesn't want to make the left-hand turn anymore and tries to cut back in. Doesn't use her blinker. That's a very common problem here. No one apparently has figured out the blinker.
That's a con. The blinker. That's on my thing too. Pisses me off.
Yeah. Every stop sign, I'm like, I'm just going to wait because I don't know if you're turning.
Yeah.
We're just going to sit here.
That is an every time I'm in a car, no matter whose car it is, someone is not using their blinker.
Yeah. It's so infuriating.
Anyway, sorry.
So she tries to come back over, and I swerve because I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you can't just change your mind in the middle of your turn. So I swerve. I'm honking at her. There was someone on my right who's now honking at me because I'm swerving into their lane. I'm like, wow. This is all in like 5 seconds. I get around her and driving, and the guy speeds up, and I'm going to wave like, I'm so sorry. And he's like, rolls down his windows, flipping me off. And I think that he sees that I'm like apologetic, because I wasn't trying to do that. So then he's like, and like gives me like a backwards peace sign, and I'm like, what is going on?
Oh my God.
And I got annoyed, so I was gonna roll down my window and be like, that wasn't my fault. Like she can't. But then I was like, no, we're just let it go. Just let it go.
Yes.
And he drove away. But like things like that happen all the time here. It's crazy.
I think it's so hard, and this goes with like every topic that we're talking about, but like California is just so big, and I see even within it, like I've lived in SoCal, like I've lived in San Clemente, I've lived here for a little over a year now. I've also lived like in the middle of nowhere in 29 Palms and the Bay Area, so like I've been like in different parts, and driving all over, I can definitely say that without a doubt. I do think California drivers have this like I don't give a fuck attitude. Yeah. Southern California drivers are I don't give a fuck dumb. Like, oops. And it's like these rich I don't know, that's such a generalization, but I don't care. This whole episode is a generalization.
I feel like, yeah, in my experience living down here, everyone's just like, a lot of people are on their phone. Everyone's like distracted.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks that like they can do whatever they want. Like, the fact that she just, like, thought she could... I'm like, no, dude. Yeah, I'm literally halfway...
Yeah. What rules are you following, lady?
Like, you messed up. You wait at the light. You flip a U-ey and you come back around. Yeah. That's how it works. You don't just get to, like, swerve back in.
Yes.
Also, I didn't know that's what you're trying to do. You're just coming over.
Yeah. No blinker, no indication. So I think that... But, like, then I think of Bay Area drivers, and they are, I don't give a fuck, move out of my fucking way. And so it's like... I love a Bay Area driver because you're going so fast, you're swerving, if you have road rage, you better be able to like stick up for yourself, because if someone comes like, if you're flipping someone off, it's gonna be like a huge thing. Whereas here, like, I think people, what's that stupid saying? They want the heat but can't handle the smoke or something like that.
Maybe.
I might have just made that up. I don't know if that's true.
That seems right.
Sure. Does it make sense? It doesn't matter. So that's the difference, is like Bay Area, they are something else. Drivers, like, they are like crazy, but everybody's like swerving and moving. Whereas like here, you get like your one-off people that are trying to move around, and then you get those like diddly daddlers or
they're just like, yeah.
Do. Oh, I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna go this way. Yeah. Oops. Like, it's okay. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And then you get someone with like me who has anger. Like, yeah, it's a very good, I know that emotion quite well. And like, people just are so dumb. And when I pass by, like, my situation that I had the same day that you had this car situation was literally in a 2-lane road, driving to get on the freeway at a light. So I'm in the far right lane at a stoplight behind a car. Light turns green. She puts her hazards on, like, as I'm behind her. And so I like honk at her, because I'm like, what are you doing? You're just in your car with your hazards on, light turn. What are you, this is not,
yeah.
You can't just stop wherever you want.
Yeah.
And now like cars are piling behind me. I'm trying to move over, but the cars in the left lane won't let me go. And it's coming, because now no one's letting me in. And that's in itself is like infuriating.
Yeah, people like see what's happening, so they
move,
go
and I'm
over.
like, just wait, this will all help everybody if we just do it all together. But no one thinks like that.
No.
So I finally go over and I lay on my horn and I go like, fucking flip her off. I'm pissed. I am that driver. I do not care. And and then she has the audacity to flip me off. I almost turned around. I was so mad. Like, you're just like, don't flip. It's not me. It's you.
She wasn't like, oh my gosh, my car broke down.
Yeah.
Like,
if I'm mad and I see someone, I would have done that guy.
Yeah.
I would have been like, oh, okay. Like, if you apologize, forgiven.
Yeah.
But if you come at me that way, I am like,
what are you doing?
So upset. And then today, this is the one that I have to tell you about. So driving to a trail that we go a lot, and the one, whatever, Mission Trails one, and there's, again, a 2-lane road, but I'm in the left lane, because the right one turns into the neighborhood. Like, it ends, and then the left keeps going, so that you can kind of like make a U-turn into the parking lot of the trail, whatever. And this Mini Coupe comes as the right-hand lane is ending and turns into just one lane. He swerves past me on the right-hand side, so where cars are supposed to park and where the bike lane is, comes flying. Like, I'm already doing like at least 30, slowing down because you're about to go over. There's like speed bumps.
Yeah.
I hope he fucking ruined his car. And he's going so fast. There's another car behind me. So he was like the third car in the line, comes swerving by.
Wow.
Looks at me like I'm dumb, swerves by me, ends up doing the U-turn to go back into the neighborhood where if he just stayed in the right lane, he could have just... Honestly, I blew my mind.
What in the world?
Then, of course, at that U-turn, I sped up. I was like, I don't give a fuck. My car's trashed anyway. So I sped up and I'm hopping over those speed bumps and I rolled down my window and I'm like, what is your problem? And I just love these Southern California. They're just like, and I'm like, guy, like, fuck you, dude. It really pissed me off. Clip that, man. That's awesome. But
Wait, did he not say anything?
No, he couldn't say anything. He was just like, he rolled his windows down too, and he was like, I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, literally, you missed your turn.
Yeah.
Trying to whip around
But
everyone.
like enough for like screeching, like full on swerve over the bump, and I'm just like about to try to find parking for my car to go on a hike.
Yeah, what is your issue? The patience is this. There's zero patience in anyone.
But it's like, I guess I don't have patience either because it's like so dumb for me to get so like worked up. But like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
That was my big freak out. Sorry, we have a lot to say about driving. But like,
this is what
I've never experienced things like this before. Like, my embarrassing moment was, I guess, my lack of patience, but it stemmed from someone else's lack of patience because I'm trying to, like, when you're trying to pull out, when you have to parallel park and you're trying to pull onto a main road where there's just so many cars.
Yes.
Like, the light was red and I could see that I had a second, but I had to like like get out of the spot. So I'm already halfway out. Like, the wheel is cranked. I'm about to go in and she's like, Ree! And I lost my mind because she did that, was zipped around me, and I was like, and then because I was ready to come out into the lane, zip around her, and then I'm like, I need to calm down. But I was just so irritated. I'm like, if you waited literally 0.2 seconds for me to put it back into drive and leave, like, the light was red when I was doing this, so you haven't even accelerated yet, and there's a stop sign in the next intersection. Like, you're not going to get very far.
I know. Like, what is the point?
I don't know.
Like, if you're trying to get somewhere, like, not that I like freaking road rage freakouts, even though I'm one of those people, but if you're trying to get somewhere, like, off to an exit, like, at least you're going somewhere. Like, these people are going nowhere, and then you get stuck at the same light together or a stop sign. I'm like, ha ha ha, motherfucker. And this guy just did, like, a U-turn. Like, I don't get it. So anyways, driving is like, I will have to say, you brought up a good thing. Everybody does go 80. That's crazy.
Yeah, everyone goes fast here. But that's about it. No one understands blinkers. Everyone's in their own world.
Yep.
If you're in NorCal, it sounds like everyone's really aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. So that's driving in California. Maybe that's how it is other places. But, I mean, I've, like, lived in other states, and I feel like it's not this bad.
No.
Or if, like, something happens and it's, like, once in a blue moon.
Though I will have to say, I think now, like, I am a California driver. I'm probably one of these people fully. Yeah. So when I go somewhere else and I'm driving, like, in Oregon or back home, and, like, you're just stuck behind a fucking tractor, or an old lady that can't see and probably shouldn't be driving.
Yeah.
Or it's like when I get stuck on Main Street after, like, school gets let out and, like, everybody has to do, like, 15 miles an hour and everybody is doing 15 miles an hour, I'm like, I'm gonna die. I'm like, I don't have anywhere to be. This is just small town folk. Like, let them live. And
I get on like, 395 and I'm like, like zooming, and then I'm like, wait a minute.
I know. Going to Carson, that, like, lane where you used to live, I'm just like, oh, speeding down. I'm like, okay, it's fine. Yeah. Everybody's chill here. You can take a chill pill.
Because I remember, like, when I would drive to high school and people would do that, I'm like, they're crazy. And now I'm that person.
I know. Well, we had a lot to say about driving. But I think my rant is done. The next topic that we wanted to look at is food. I don't know why I said it so, like,
we wanted to take a peek.
Scientifically or whatever. Professional. So what do you think? I have a few thoughts.
Okay, I think that the best food I've ever had has been in California. And I feel like the variety is so nice. And maybe it's just because we're, like, when we go back home, it is a small town. Mm-hmm. And everything is a chain restaurant. But even the non-chain restaurants, I'm like, this is mediocre. This is mediocre at best.
At best. That's so funny.
And then I come back here and I'm like, I could go to any Mexican spot in this vicinity and have a great burrito.
Yeah.
I could go literally to any Italian spot, anything that I want, I can get.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so nice. And I don't think that's just San Diego. Like, in LA, when I've been to the Bay Area, like, I feel because there's so many people and so many restaurants, you have to have a good restaurant or you won't survive.
Yeah.
Like, the shitty ones just don't make it. And it's great.
Yeah.
What are
I
your
definitely
thoughts?
agree. I think there's so much variety, and there's a lot of different like cultures. Like, you can find a lot of different stuff, which is really nice to have that variety, and it is pretty decent. I also like I just really love like going out to eat, and I love like nice restaurants, and I feel like there's always a nice restaurant, which is good.
I sense a but.
There is a but. It's like, even with the variety and it being good, like, there's just something to say about like when you go to a place and they're known for something. Like, what would you say California is known for? Because, like, yes, the Mexican food is great, but like,
Texas is probably better.
you know, like, there are like, it has, the pro is that like you can find anything and it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
I just think like we don't really like specialize in anything.
But does any state?
I don't know. I
I
think
guess
like,
some of them have like barbecue, like in
Yeah.
the South or something, or like, I don't know. I think of like New York City, and I'm like, what are they known for?
yeah, maybe they would be like more of like fine dining. I guess like,
Pizza,
yeah. Well, no, because like Chicago, right?
but they're very different.
That's true. That's true. I do like for California, and this is probably everywhere else, but we've kind of mastered it, is the happy hour, I think, of like making really good small plates go with like really good cocktails.
Yeah,
And I'm sure
it is
everyone in
true.
New York and all of our friends in New York and Florida are probably like, I don't know, but
Yeah.
that
But I
was
think
my,
there's so
that's
many
my
like
take.
major cities in California. Like, it's not like New York City is the city in New York.
Yes, yeah.
But you come to California, you have LA, you have San Francisco. I mean, San Diego is a large city. Like, really, just about any city you go to, they have all these options, which is really nice.
Yeah.
I don't really think I have like a negative about the food here. I guess sometimes the like really Instagrammable spots are kind of like that coffee shop love song or whatever.
Is ruined, basically.
It's really good, but it's always poppin'. Like, there's always like a line like very influencer-esque, and it kind of ruins something.
No one seems to be really enjoying. That's the one thing I like about, not the one thing, but one of the things I like about the restaurant I work at is there's no television. There's no TV.
Yeah.
So you get a very specific group of people that come in, and it's for the experience. Like, that's what I like about going out.
Yeah.
Is like the experience. And sometimes it's like when you see people like, I mean, like, pictures are fine. I don't know. I don't want to like shit talk because I enjoy seeing those things on Instagram.
Yeah.
But like when you're in it in the moment, it almost like takes away from it, and you're gonna find that everywhere here, especially Southern California. Bay Area, not so much. But I mean, I feel like that's kind of everywhere now.
Yeah.
Just with like social media. But like, yeah, when it comes to food and I see that, I'm on like coffee shops and stuff, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Vibe is ruined. Ruined my vibe.
But my vibe. You can take photos, but I feel like when it's like, okay, now another angle. Now I'm like, the next one we have is people. So you want to kick it off with your thoughts on people? California people?
Some of the best and worst people I've ever met are in California. It's like hard to generalize. Okay.
Generalize?
Thank you. Because everybody, like, I meet people from all over. Some people that have been living in California since they were born. Some people like from the East Coast, all over, which is nice. When I lived in Southern California in high school, I fucking hated it. There were only a certain amount of people that I really got along with. Everybody else was just like too tutti frutti and like just like so stuck up, and I was just so irritated. But that was like Orange County area, and I think that's
California.
that's
Yeah.
like what you're gonna get when you're like secure in yourself and you know what you're looking for. You're always gonna find your group of people, and that's what I like about California is it's very diverse. Like, there's someone for everyone.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna find a group no matter what, and it's very accepting in my mind of, you know, in some of other states, it's not so accepting of like who you are and the type of friends that you want and the lifestyle that you live. And I like that. I do think my outlook has changed a little bit. I don't think people are as mean as they were when I was in high school, but I also am like, I don't hang out with fucking 16, 17.
You're not like forced to be in the same
exactly.
areas,
So there's that. It is just like the day and night difference between like Bay Area and Southern California. Sometimes it's like there's a give and take to both. I think Bay Area people are a little bit more aggressive, and it takes a second. They have I've never been to New York, but it kind of reminds me of like, it takes a second to work their way in. Like, they're not going to just like smile and wave and like, oh my God, have a good day. Like, you're not going to get that. But like, once you're in, you're in.
Yeah.
And there's like a sense of community. There's very diverse. In SoCal though, I feel like everybody's like, oh my God, have such a nice day. And I'm like,
really? I don't feel that way.
Really? I just, when I hear, like, I was on my hike today, I almost like embarrassed myself. Well, she embarrassed herself, but like, she's like talking on the phone by her car, and like, I don't want to be a hater, but she was like, okay, yeah, so I'll just like meet you in La Jolla. And I'm like, what the La Jolla? And I'm like, what is wrong with people? I know you don't speak like that.
Yeah.
Why? What I'm saying is like, here they will be sassy, but it's that like, if you smile or like say hi, I think sometimes they'll, fake, like, oh my gosh, hi.
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh, okay. I'd rather you just be a bitch.
Yeah, just be how you actually are. I don't know, I'm like living in Minden, Nevada, even in Boise, even in Wilmington, like these other places that I've lived, I feel like people are just genuinely kind most of the time.
You're so cute. You have such a good outlook on life. I love that.
No, but here you're like, it feels like a very superficial kindness. Mm-hmm. Like so yes, I guess I do agree with you. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, have a good day. But I don't even feel like that really happens all that often. Like, sometimes I'm like, am I being annoying to you by ordering my coffee from you who's taking my order at the coffee shop? Like, yes. Like, you just seem like you have way more important things to be doing, and I'm so annoying to you right now.
Like, I am the, like, gum on the bottom of your shoe.
Yeah, literally. Like, I've met some of the best people here, too. Like, I feel so happy that I found like this community of adults that are like-minded, and they're great and accepting, and any new person that comes in, I feel fully comfortable. Like, my siblings have come, my mom hung out, obviously, like, you're part of the group, and like, I just feel like they're great. None of them, well, except for a few of them, but most of them are not from here. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the people that I have met that are actually from here are just fake. Yeah. Like, and maybe it's not even fake, it's just that they care more about themselves and, like, how they look and how they appear and what's happening with them than anyone else around them. I've gone out in San Diego by myself. Gone out on the town by myself. And have tried to, like, maybe it's weird, but I'm like, hey, like, we're dancing, and I'm, like, trying to make conversation with the girls, and they're just, like, weird.
Not doing it, yeah.
Whereas people will come up to us, and I feel like they're like, oh my gosh, you guys are so fun. Like, I love that you guys are dancing.
We say hello.
But I'm like, we're just being nice. Like, we're genuinely nice people. Yeah. And we're not going to make you feel bad about, like, oh, your friend's in the bathroom and you want someone to, like, come hang out. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really experience that here, which is sad, I think. Yes. Like, I could see it being really difficult when I did move here, I didn't know anyone. And it's honestly taken me years to get to, like, a good, stable group. I feel like I have people I can hang out with. Obviously, you moving here helped a lot. But if I hadn't met the coworkers that I had, I don't know that I would have stayed here. Yeah. Because they're what allowed me to meet other people.
I do think everywhere you live kind of has this, like, bubble on how you grew up. And I think I'm very lucky to have lived so many different places because I can kind of see that.
There's definitely a bubble. I can't remember if we've just talked about this or if it was on, whatever. But there is, like, I've seen videos, and it's so true, just, like, traveling out of California and coming back, of, like, the people here don't look like everyone else. Mm-hmm. And it's because a lot of money is spent on, like, your appearance. Mm-hmm. And I feel like one of the videos I saw was, like, if you look at, like, a 50-year-old woman in, like, LA and you look at a 50-year-old woman in, like, Italy, like she's gonna look like she's like lived some life and like is still beautiful. But most of the women here have like some type of work done, and like no shade to that, but I feel like it's become like an expectation almost 100%. For you here.
Yes.
Whereas I go anywhere else and that's not really the case.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of goes into my next thing, because it's not like a topic that we have, but I think it falls under with people, is like the fashion here is a little bit of a con for me, because it's like I love it. It's beautiful. I wish I could afford it, but it's like even the off-brand items are just not even attainable. Whereas like I feel like my style, like and you would think in Florida, Miami, but even still, like the beach. Okay, wow, I'm not even saying a clear thought. No one can understand what I'm saying.
But even, like there.
Oh, shut up. When I go visit family in Florida, it is like full on beach wear. It's just like throw overs, mismatchy.
Yeah.
And I still feel like I look cute. It's like thrifted outfits. Which, like, yes, people do that here. And
but
like,
it's
yes,
like upscale.
It's upscale.
It's like street style.
And it has to look a certain way. It's not like you can just, like, go
yeah.
thrift whatever. It's like you have to, it's a thing now. Like, you have to do it the right way. And then everything else is expensive. And, like, certain jewelry that you have to wear to certain things. And it's like, I love it and I want to keep up. But it's like, you're only really accepted if you can fit. God, it just sounds so bad. But you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And that is just a little bit of a con for me. Whereas, like, when I'm back home, when I want to do like a night out on the town in Reno, like
you put on a nice sweater.
Yeah, literally. Like not a lot of thought goes into what I'm wearing. It's more so like, okay, this is comfortable, this is cute, which is like I still try to do that here.
Yeah.
But the amount of times that I think I look cute with the outfits that I have on, and then I step outside and enter in this bubble that everybody else is living in.
Yeah.
Just the mind that I have, I automatically, like, there are times where I'm like, ooh, shrivel back up inside my hole, because I'm like, I don't feel comfortable. I don't fit in with this sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, the bar is very high. And I think it's like, yeah, if you're confident and comfortable in your own skin. But even then, I fully agree with that. It's like, oh, casual girls' night, cute. Oh, I thought it was casual.
Yeah, casual.
My definition of casual is very different than yours.
Yes.
Yeah, it is interesting. The next one is things to do in California.
I don't think I have a con.
I don't either. I feel like literally every single thing you could want to do is here. You can surf. You can go to the mountains. You can hike. There's every activity you could possibly want, free or not. Like, California is just so big. It encompasses so much. Like, national parks. You have Yosemite, which is so different from Joshua Tree. Mm-hmm. And there's camping. I love it.
Yeah. And even if you don't like anything to do with the outdoors, there's like a bazillion cities that have like art and technology and museums and history and like little other things, like comedy. Like there's so much. Anything that you could want, you could find here.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to Erica before we were recording this episode. I was listening to one of the more recent episodes of Girls Gotta Eat, and they were talking about like dating, like best and worst cities to date in, and one of those was for the best was Denver, and they were saying how like it's like a lot of the people had heard them say that or saw that on the internet or whatever of wherever the poll they were getting that from, and they're like, that's not true, we hate it here, whatever. And I'm like, Denver seems really fun, but it also seems like you'd only fit like a certain type of person.
Yeah.
And I think with California, it's like, it is, you can get desert, beach, winter, like anything, like anything that you would want is here.
Yeah.
There's always something to do.
I know. It's so nice. And like other things that you might not live in the mountains, but the mountains aren't that far. Mm-hmm. Like you could easily make a weekend trip. Even driving up, like, I mean, it would be a little bit annoying, but you could go all the way up to NorCal.
Yeah.
And come back and be back in SoCal in the weekend. Like, there's just so much to do. And I feel like, too, like Santa Cruz, Monterey, like that type of coastline is so different than this type of coastline. And it's so beautiful up there, and I love it down here. And it's just like, yeah, there's nothing I can say as a con.
Yeah.
Maybe the traffic and getting there. But that goes back to transportation, which you already know we don't like.
Yes.
So.
Which, yeah, traffic is, I couldn't even bring that up because that's too much.
Okay, the next one is cost of living.
That's I think the only con to things to do is sometimes, like, California's fucking expensive. So if it's, like, not a free thing to do, you have to take into account, like I wanted to go to the museum, and I'm like, oh my god, this is expensive.
$25, and then we need to pay
do
for parking.
Yeah, and, like, all these things. So that is, like, the downside.
Yeah, well, I was telling Elliot, I had a job interview earlier this week, and the first 10 minutes of the call, she lives in the Bay Area, and we're both just talking about, like, how great California is and why we love it. And I was like, yeah, it's expensive to live here, but, like, you can move to Iowa, and for what? Like, then you're in Iowa, and sure, I'm saving money, but I'm in Iowa. And she's like, well, my grandparents live in Iowa.
I literally was like, you could have chosen any other state as an example. Any other state, and you chose the one where your boss's grandparents live.
I was like, oh, yeah. I mean, I've never actually been there. Just...
Oh, God. That's funny.
But it is true. Like, even thinking about going to Reno, which it has been a conversation we've talked about. Like, it's a city. We'd be near family. We love Tahoe. Like, it'd be cheaper. There. But then I'm like, I'm not by all the friends in the community that I've built. There aren't all the things to do all the time. There's not the good food. I'm saving money, but now I'm in the freezing cold in the winter. And, like, I don't know. Is that trade-off worth it for me? Even being close to family, like, I love them, but I'm really not that far away.
Yeah.
Like, if an emergency happened, or if I was like, I just need to go home, I can make it happen.
Yeah.
I'm not across the country. And I feel like, too, I'm not trying to raise a family here. So the cost of living is, like, all spent on me.
Yeah.
And not on anyone else, which I can fully understand the argument of, like, if I had kids and I'm trying to just, like, support a family, then maybe, yeah, I need to go back to Nevada or something.
Yeah, I mean, if that was the stage of life that I was in, that would be a different conversation. But for me, it's like everything that I'm looking for, everything that's important to me that I want to make time for is here or in California. Like, I don't know if I'm ready to say goodbye all of that just for the sake of saving money. But then it's like, would I be saving money? I work at a fucking restaurant right now. I'm doing okay in California. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, if I were to do what I'm doing in Reno, it would probably be the same.
Have to, like,
it would all equal more. Exactly. It would equal each other. It's like, I don't know.
I do think
this whole gas situation. It was like almost $7 like a few months ago. Yeah. That was crazy. Like, what the fuck?
Like, the rent piece is huge, and when we're looking at places to live, but I'm also like, if you find a spot, even if your rent is high, if you have things in walking distance, like, the trade-off can be good. Like, we have great things around us that are right here that we don't really have to go get in the car to see. Sorry, there's this dog hair all over you. Sorry.
I think it's hard too when, like, even, you know, I was talking to my aunt, and she has, like, they have a family down here as well, and I was telling her, like, when you guys should come visit, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, yeah, we would love to come visit, but, like, we really have to, like, save up to go visit San Diego, because it's not just, like, it's not that they're living here, and, like, yes, we experience that with, like, rent and stuff and groceries, but, like, for things that I don't even think about, it's, like, when we go out to eat, or, like, pay for parking, or literally anything, when I go do similar things, like, anywhere else, I'm like, oh my God, wait, this is like, it doesn't equal $100? I know. I'm like, this is crazy. Yeah. So it is like, I don't know if it's just the city living. I don't understand.
I also kind of feel like,
to be completely honest with you guys, the whole concept doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
So I think that's just like, it is tough. It is tough out there.
Yeah. There's this term called, like, lifestyle creep or whatever that's usually referred to when you, like, make more money, you start spending more money, and you really never see the, like, benefits of making more money. But I do think that can be true about, like, where you live. Like, if you're used to living here, you almost, like, don't, like, it's just built into your lifestyle.
Oh, yeah.
What you're saying of, like, when I go back home and I'm like, wow, there's so many parking spots and we don't have to pay for this, and like, this is great. But it's just, like, something I'm used to now. And not that I think it's great. Would love to have free parking and be able to do whatever, but, like...
But again, the trade-off.
The trade-off is worth it to me. So.
Exactly.
There's also Uber here. Back home, there is no Uber.
Yeah, there's no Uber.
Okay, the next one, or did you have anything else on
No.
that? The next one is weather, which is a big one for me. What?
I think people have in their mind that the San Diego weather is like awesome, which it can be.
Sunny and 75, 365.
But it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. And
The
it's
evenings
like
are cold.
evenings are freezing. Also, our house is like situated in this, like we are it's freaking Antarctica up in this bitch. It's an ice cube. It's like layers don't help you out because in the sun you're hot, and then in the cold, like even on a walk, it's like jacket on, jacket off, jacket on, jacket off. Because I'm uncomfortable. There's like not really all four seasons. Which, me personally, I love winter. I love having all four seasons. That's, like, the one thing that I do miss about being a little bit close, like, a little more north. Like, Bay Area, a little bit kind of like that. But, like, in the mountains, you get, like, the fall and the winter. And I like that. Here, it's, like, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm trying to find, have you seen that, like, one, you know, it's not important. I'm just going to not even say it. But I just, like... The weather here drives me nuts a little bit because, like, I try to, like, understand numbers, you know, like the Fahrenheit, like the degrees, and the degrees don't help me because they don't mean anything to me. Like, I need to actually, like, feel it, outside. And then the house is deceptive, so I think it's a lot colder, and then I step outside, and then it's hotter, but then it will get cold, and sometimes it's gloomy, and then it turns rainy, and then it's rainy, and then it turns really sunny. It's, like... Yeah. It's just so temperamental. It drives me nuts a little bit because I just want to plan, and you can't plan for this kind of weather. It's like unplannable. It's my weather rant. I will have to say though, like, it wasn't really September this year. It was like more October this year or last year, whatever year, of like when our summer was. Like, nothing beats that time of the year.
September, October in San Diego is probably my favorite month.
Oh my God, that is awesome. Every other time I'm like, what is happening? But it's just glorious. That is like what I think people think of that happens all the time. And I'm like, it's not like that all the time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, unlike you.
I knew it.
I don't like winter. And I do understand the, like, want for seasons. But I'll take a trip to experience that season. I went to the East Coast for the fall. I went back home for winter. I got a taste, and that was all I needed. And I'm back. I think, too, like, I've just grown used to bringing a jacket with me everywhere. Like, regardless, I have a jacket, and it's off and on and whatever. But, like, so I'm training for this triathlon right now. When I was training for the triathlon in Boise... I had full gloves, fleece-lined leggings, like windbreaker and jacket, and my face had like one of those masks on, and I'm like trying to like train and ride my bike. And here it's like, I can go out and ride my bike in January. We're literally swimming outside. I have a full tan line right now. Yeah. And like, I would not trade that for anything. Hey, do you know blue zones? Have you heard of that? Mm-mm. It's like the areas, these like hot spots in the world where people like live the longest. All of them are, like, situated somewhere along, like, the equator a little bit. And I do think, obviously we're not at the equator, but, like, we have more sunny days than people more north. And I do think that plays a part in, like, your overall happiness.
I do agree with that. I think it's just, like, for me, and this is a goal... a goal of mine maybe for like the future, but I enjoy rugged living. Like, I don't mind it. Like, it was... Are you okay?
No, I just really needed water and I'm trying to be quiet.
But like, I enjoy it. When I was back home, we had this like huge like snowstorm, and my dad has like a gate that you have to get out and open. It reminds me of like the station of like just, you know, you have to have like the boots and open the gate and take the dogs out and take the horses out. Like, I like that, and I like feeling like badass. And I remember being like, you know, you have to like leave a little bit of water running so that the pipes don't freeze, and like all the things that we grew up learning because of the area that we lived. It's like, yeah, you'll probably live longer down here, but I just feel like so survival and gritty when I do things like that of like, oh, gotta prepare for the storm. It's like here, it's like, oh, it's raining.
Ooh, hurricane, but not actually.
Yeah, but not actually. And it's like, so I don't know. I mean, maybe I've just, I like, obviously you guys know, I just like bitching. And I think the one thing that pisses me off here is like, it says it won't rain and then you leave and it's like you don't have a rain jacket. It's like, I don't understand. At least in Oregon, all I knew I needed was my rain jacket. Here it's like you need a fleece, you need your rain jacket. You have to take all of these different jackets with you to figure out what you're gonna wear. It's like I just wanna know what the fuck the day is gonna look like. It's unplannable. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I mean, swimming in winter, this is like outside and
yeah.
I went on a hike
and this is
and
like
was
to
wearing...
SoCal.
Yeah.
I mean, NorCal, you can get it differently.
Yeah, that's true.
The
Teach
weather.
their own.
All right, safety.
Sorry. I'm just going to have to come over here with my foot. So I wanted to, what was this? To safety? Safety, yes. I wanted to bring this up because we have, like, a year ago talked about moving to Miami, and I was just visiting with, like just hanging out with family, and we were talking about, like, the pros and cons of basically this episode of, like, California and versus Florida, because that's where two of my aunts live. And my sister had said something along the lines of, like, Florida has fucking crazy people. Like, it's dangerous. It's crazy. And it's like, her argument was like, are you kidding me? Like, there's gang activity in California all the time. And I agree. Like, California can be dangerous and have gangs. But, like, a lot of, how am I saying this? Like, Florida, you get fucking crazies all over. Like, everywhere, all the time, not gang affiliated, not trying to whatever the gangs are trying to do. Like I just whatever their goals are. But like I just feel like you never know who's gonna like do some crazy shit. I lived in the Bay Area. I would go nights out was in Oakland, which is like can be a very scary, dangerous place. And my aunt, I had called her and was like, hey, like, how's your weekend, whatever. And she was like, oh, like, John and I went to a live show in Oakland. She was like, I have to say, like, there were a lot of people out and I never felt, like, worried for my safety or, like, scared. And I have to say, out of all the times that I was out in Oakland, I never felt scared. Guys, I was tripping balls once, like, rolling so hard. And I had went to a corner store to get smokes because that's how gone I was. I needed a cigarette to calm the fuck down. That's like, that hardly ever happens. That's where I was in the clouds. And I left my wallet, my phone, it was all of my things, just the things in my pocket on the counter of the 7-Eleven. And I had the homeless guy behind me who was also getting something run out and give that to me in Oakland at like 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, I understand that people say that like California can be scary, but it's also like anywhere can be scary.
Yeah.
I think that there's a sense of community in California. And if you're from California, like, I don't know, like,
yeah.
I don't know. I've never had that experience. I also think media plays a huge part. I think people love to attack California for some reason. I get it. Whatever. We like love to like, I don't know. We love getting attacked, I guess. And I'm like, I don't see it as much as I see it when I go other places. So I just thought it was like important to bring up because I think like you can, I mean, especially as like a woman, are you kidding me? Like I can feel, there's a lot of places that I can feel like unsafe. Even across the street sometimes it gets like dark and I have to park. That too. Like I just, you know, safety is an important thing. And so I think I've never felt super unsafe in California.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what you said about like the media, and it is kind of just like what you look into, and everywhere there's gonna be things that happen, like freak accidents or just like someone who, I mean, unfortunately in the United States, like shootings at the like Kansas City thing that just happened, like it happens literally everywhere, and it's so sad and so unfortunate that that's the world. But I agree, like when we've gone out and like been separated and like walk home alone at night, like I'm never like terrified. You know? Yeah. Like I'm like aware. I think don't be dumb. Be aware of your surroundings, but like yeah, I think it's fine. I feel that way about like when I traveled and everyone was like, you're going to Colombia? and I was alone, and I like all the things you see in the news, and it's like, oh my gosh, this scary, horrible place. But it's like, I was fine. Everyone was nice. I wasn't an idiot. Like, just don't be dumb. I don't know.
Exactly. I mean, I think for us too, like they, it's like, I don't run, like in the middle of the night without any lights on, or, don't carry anything. You know what I mean? Like I'm smart, but I also have never been like, I feel so scared and uncomfortable. Like we've walked from a Padre, like we've gone from downtown multiple times.
House,
like, and it's not like the safest thing to do, but it's like, I've never felt unsafe.
Yeah.
Whereas like I think in some other places, and I'm just using Florida as an example because like
that's what you know.
Yeah, that's what I know. But I'm even thinking of like even in California, even in the Bay Area and Oakland, where it's like it can get very like scary things do happen all the time over there. It's just like what you choose to like, I don't know, like I don't know. I've never felt like I can't believe that happened that day. And I was just like, oh my God. And then, of course, I go home to, like, tell family. And they're like, wait, you did what? I'm like, yeah. You don't really think about it.
I also feel like karma, like, this is not in any way, if you've had a traumatic experience happen, to be like, you have bad karma.
Yes.
But the generalization of, like, if you are nice to people, or just leave them the heck alone, they'll leave you alone.
Yeah.
Or if you're nice to them, they'll be nice back, or like whatever. Like if you walked into that 7-Eleven and were like cussing people out and like,
I was
so
probably
rude.
like, oh my God, I love you guys so much. Everybody looks beautiful in here. Oh my God, I can only imagine the kind of how embarrassing. But
if you were rude, I feel like that maybe he wouldn't have been inclined to be like, I'm gonna go give this girl her stuff back.
Yeah.
So I think that does play a role in things too.
I also think it plays a role in like when you're looking for a place to live too. You want to look at the safety of where you're going.
Yeah. Okay, the last one on our list is culture. Do you want to start?
So, I've been thinking a lot about this of like I love nice. Way to go. That's like one of the number one reasons why I'm not ready to move back home yet. And it's unfortunate because it's not like Nevada doesn't have culture. Everywhere has culture. It's a little bit easier to ingrain yourself in different kinds of culture here and learn. And people are more accepting to kind of like invite you in and extend that invitation of like, this is my culture. Would you like to like learn about that? And I appreciate that. I think the only thing for me is like, you get Mexicans, you get you get that vibe. And I think when I'm home in Florida and like the Cubans and the Puerto Ricans and like there's just like a different way that they speak and that culture, and the food is a little bit different, the music is a little bit different, and obviously it's going to be predominantly Cuban closer to Miami versus in California, understandably so. But that's like the only con, but that makes sense to me, obviously.
Yeah.
But my God, California has everything. Anything.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I love it.
I agree. I also
and they're
feel
accepting. Like they want you to, they're inviting, and it doesn't feel like scary to ask questions or to talk about it or to be involved in something that maybe isn't your background. Like I love it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's like a melting pot.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
But
how they describe
it a good
New
way
York.
or whatever. Yeah, yes, yeah.
Wait, is melting pot bad?
I don't know. To me, it's like, this is like the history thing all over again. But it's like, when I hear it, I'm not even going to go into it. It's probably a good thing. I don't know. Never mind.
Okay, well, take that out if it's bad. I didn't know. I was just thinking like a mix of all the different cultures. Because as a white person, when I go home to white land in Nevada, where everyone's white, it's like I am hyper aware of it, and I'm also just like I notice the difference in the conversations, the difference in like the way people talk about certain things. Mm-hmm. I feel like even if the majority of our friends are also mostly white, we're not like, no one says anything or is talking about things that like doesn't involve them. Mm-hmm. And in my experience, like going back home, sometimes like, why are we having this conversation?
Yeah.
Like, this is weird. Or like, just the way people talk about things, I think because there's been no exposure and they don't know anything else, and like, that's not to excuse racist behavior. But I also feel like when you're living in a state like California where you have all these opportunities to learn, and also it's kind of just like, I would imagine when you go to school, everyone probably looks different than you. Like, it's like this mix. Whereas when you go to school in Nevada, it's like 95% of the people look just like me. So that's what I know, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I feel like there's no interest in learning about the other 5% there.
Or
you know
if they like are having lessons, it's like being taught by a white person.
Mm-hmm. Literally. There are so many things I didn't know about the land that in Minden and Gardnerville that I didn't know until I left. And I'm like, why is this shit not taught in school? I don't understand. It drives me nuts. Having like your own culture represented where you live is a big piece. I think that like is important to look at if you like want to move or live somewhere else. But I think with California is like you're always going to find somewhere and something different and fun, and same kind of like with the food. I don't know. It just seems very, I guess, I don't know if melting pot is a good thing. I don't know why.
Let's not use it. Let's just avoid it.
We're just up on that. But yeah, I don't really have like anything bad to say about that.
No. I feel like you could maybe like do niche cultures of like the PB culture or something. Yeah.
But even then, like, it's like you're
you know what you're getting.
Yeah, that and like I feel like we don't even we PB has a culture, but like we don't even gravitate to that culture when we're there. We end up finding somewhere else to go.
Yeah,
you know,
it's true.
It is like when you get to a certain age, you end up finding the people that you vibe with regardless of where the fuck they came from.
I feel like of all the cons that we said, like in my mind, those are not enough for me to leave, at least right now in this phase of my life. And the opportunities and the things that like we're going to some event tomorrow that I'm like, this looks fun, and it's like all these dance music from like around the world or something that like someone's DJing, and I'm like, you would not find this back home.
No.
Like, this is not a thing that would be happening.
No.
And, like, the fact that it's sunny outside right now and we'll probably go paint or do some art later, like, I love that. I love that this gets to be our life. So if you're thinking about moving to California, would recommend. Yeah. It's a great spot.
Sure is.
Do you have anything else you want to
No,
say?
I think that was it. Love California.
We
Pros
love California.
Cons. Love
it's a
it.
good spot. It's a
Very
good
good
state.
spot.
All right, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your week. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Politest Stuff Podcast, wherever you get your